I just have like a lot of thoughts in my mind. So I was like, okay, well, I have the day off, so let me just record this video. First, start off wishing everybody a happy holiday. The second thing I want to address, because it's noticeable, I've been doing a few product reviews behind the scenes, and clearly you can see had some adverse side effects. So, well, the scar I've always had, but the scars over here had some bad side effects to some new products that I'm trying. So, if not, maybe later on today, because I have kind of a busy week. But sometime soon, I record my video and kind of give you my views on the product that I'm using, why I decided to try it out, and how it's been going. I tried to do a 1 month challenge, but I'm at week probably 3. But clearly I'm going to have to stop and quit because my face is breaking out. And as you guys already know, so I don't wear makeup on a regular day or a normal basis. So I think I made it to probably, I always make it to about day 10. Then I always quit the challenges because I just cannot wake up that early in the morning. And to be honest with you, I feel most beautiful with a fresh, clean face. Like putting on makeup, I like it every once in a while, but day to day it's not like my jam. I rather just have like clean skin, nice moisturizer. Maybe what I do want to learn how to do is I do want to learn how to do some different like eye makeups. I think I probably can get into that, and maybe some lashes. But besides that, the whole full foundation, full face every day is just not my jam. I take public transportation. I walk into the train every single morning. I don't care if it's summer, winter, fall. It could dead be snowing outside. Just getting to the train, I feel like my face melts off. It just feels too heavy on my face all day. I spend too many hours in the office to want to make makeup all day. So literally, I always try, like every year, I feel like I try at least twice a year to do like simple makeup, which is not really that simple if it takes you half an hour to do. Or 20 minutes probably to do. But it just never works out in my favor. So, long story short, just addressing the elephant in the room. Besides that, what I really wanted to come on here, because it's been weighing like heavy on my heart, and I've been seeing like a lot of videos and reactions and whole lot of mess going on nowadays, is I wanted to address the general topic at the end of the day. Is just Black women in the beauty industry. I will tell you, for myself, the beauty industry is fascinating, in particular with how they treat Black women, because it's one of the only industries where Black women dominate. Like spending dollars wise, dominate. Black women spend billions of dollars every year on Black hair care products, getting their nails done, beauty supply stores, buying weaves and wigs, just anything that you can think of. Black women spend the most money on, even makeup. And I will tell you why. So before Fenty, and I'll get to my commentary on Fenty. So before Fenty, where there's probably just 2 shades in every beauty store, every Sephora, every supermarket, every anything, that literally Black women used to just waste their money on, because you never know. One was always too dark, one was always too light, so you always had to buy both. Try to like mix it, try to do different brands. I struggled with that, and that's another reason why I think that's probably one of the main reasons why I didn't get into makeup when I was younger, because probably if I would have got into makeup when I was younger, I probably wouldn't care about, I probably would be used to having product on my face all the time. And on top of that, I'd probably be way more efficient in my makeup, I guess you could say, routine in the morning. But yeah, between just buying products that just don't work and wasting them all the time and always trying to try new things, Black women spend the most money in the beauty industry and literally get almost, I'm not going to say zero, I think we're making some progress, not fast enough, but we get the minimalist benefit out of the industry in terms of Black-owned businesses. Let's just keep it 100. I can't even say we're probably like, the 1% of Black-owned business owners in the Black beauty industry. And on top of that, too, you still see in different segments, even though Black women spend the most money, we're still not that catered to. So to be honest with you, I think a lot of makeup, in terms of makeup, I think a lot of makeup brands are doing better because the YouTube community and everybody has been screaming and shouting that they don't make shades for African American women, and then Fenty Beauty, not only shades, but good quality ones where you don't look ashy. Because to be fair, before Fenty Beauty, there was companies that did make shades for brown women. There's maybe like 2 or 3. But to be fair, they were very like ashy looking, and they were still really expensive, and no Black woman, I'm sorry, wants to walk around looking gray and ashy. This is just the truth. So yeah, it's really weird because the industry still doesn't necessarily cater to us, but everybody's been willing to take our spending dollars. It is what it is. So I guess there's 2 main incidents that's kind of just been like that I've been struggling with. So I will say, everybody knows one day, hopefully, God willing, I want to be an entrepreneur. Everybody knows I want to do the restaurant industry, but I also want to do real estate, and I also want to do beauty. Those are probably the 3 main industries that I would like to get into one day and open up my own business doing that. It's not a secret. It's why I'm into business school. So I want to say probably about 5 years ago. So right before I started working in corporate America, I actually have a business plan that I started for a beauty company. And I want to say 3 years ago, I have another business plan for a bakery that I wanted to start. Never had enough capital nor time to kind of launch it and get it off the ground the way that I wanted to. To be fair, it's the same thing on my YouTube channel. I've been wanting to do YouTube for years now. Never had the confidence or the money to buy the best camera equipment, so I just never did it. But now I just realized nothing happens overnight. You kind of have to slowly start building, which is why I had to reach out of my comfort zone to start my channel. And I think I'm probably gonna go back and like look at some of those plans that I had in the past, because there's just been a whole lot of mess going on, long story short, like in the beauty community. So the first that I'm going to commentate on, and everybody has been commentating on this beauty squad with Jeffrey, Laura Lee, Miguel, Nikita, and I know there's like a couple people that I'm missing. But basically, you can probably go and look this up yourself, because honestly, there's a ton of hate already like on the internet, so I don't want to like spread it either, but I give you like the highlights of what's going down. So this beauty squad, they are literally the biggest beauty gurus on YouTube right now. They, in that whole group, there's probably about a group of like 5 or 6 of them. They go anywhere from, I think the highest is like 5 million subscribers. There's one girl with like 4, and then maybe like 2. So like you have wide ranges. And on top of that, because they have such a huge following on YouTube, they get compensated about, rumor has it, between $100,000 and $150,000 per subscription that they get. So it's part of like affiliated marketing. So what happened is that beauty brand will come to them and say, hey, we have a product, we want you to promote it on your channel. They go promote the product on their channel, you know, probably have some type of discount code. They probably have some link to go purchase the product. And you know, people go, they watch their videos, they're like, oh my god, this product looks amazing, I want to try this out. Click on the link, use the code, and by using the code, companies can see that they're actually getting a return on their investment going to YouTube. So what ends up happening is, as more people watch your videos, you get more bargaining power at the end of the day to leverage the price that you want to pay for these companies to partner with you. So it's kind of weird. So let me get to the scandal and then I'll go back to that. So basically, at some point, it's kind of like a weird sitch, but Jeffree Star is like the biggest beauty guru out of them all. He basically started fighting with his squad, which is about like 4 or 5 other folks. And so they started calling him out and dragging him, saying that he was racist and blah, 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 X, Y, Z, and the third. And he apologized maybe a year back about some of the racist stuff that he said. So, and honestly, what he said was pretty bad. So he said it was like a joke in one of his YouTube videos. But he said that this black girl should bleach her skin with battery acid so that way her foundation can blend. Which, my comments, like, honestly, I'm going to commentate on that, first of all. Acid doesn't really make your skin lighter. What it does is melt off your skin. If you actually see somebody that's gotten severely burned by battery acid, that's not even something that I would even joke about or think it's, like, even funny, just because, like, women literally get attacked every single day with people throwing acid on their face. There's tons of videos about it on YouTube, on the internet, and on top of that, like, literally it melts their skin off. Like, they don't get lighter. You may be seeing flesh. It literally just melts their skin off. These people are severely scarred. They have to go through years of reconstructive surgery, and no matter how much surgery they get, their skin and face will never look the same again. So for anybody to even think that was like a joke, it's just like something is like kind of just like wrong with you. Like, it's not funny. Like, and I'm all about humor and kind of having like a weird sense of humor, but that's just like not funny at all. So that was like a notable highlight. And then so he started fighting with his squad. It was kind of weird. So then clearly the YouTube community jumped in and people started going through Twitter, finding old tweets, and sure enough, one by one, it was a bunch of racist tweets from like everybody in the squad. So everybody in the squad was just a little bit racist, a little bit insensitive. They were also fat shaming people. It was just very like mean girlish. Like, that's exactly what it is. And I'm calling it a squad because that's what I think when I think of mean girls. Like, they just were, I get it, they were beauty gurus, and instead of using their platforms to spread positivity, they were being very just negative and like mean to people. And it's one of those things where, like, you know, like, it's very high schoolish where like people will pick at somebody's flaws to kind of bond. Like, oh my god, that girl, did you see her whatever? Did you see her role? Did you see, like, just like stupidity. So the whole squad got dragged into this. So now the whole squad is now apologizing for their racist tweets and the stuff that they put out on the internet. They're all losing their business. So there's one girl in particular, Laura Lee, is getting a lot of hate. And I kind of feel really bad for her, but at the same time I don't. So this girl is getting a lot of hate because particularly what she said was, and this is not targeted necessarily towards black women. It actually probably more so is implied to be black men, but I don't want to get her quote wrong. So she said, probably both. She said, tip for all black people, if you pull your pants up, you can run from the cops faster. Hashtag you're welcome in 2012. Yeah. And you can go Google what the rest of the squad said. It's actually pretty vile and disgusting, some of the comments that they made. So now she's been losing. She's lost like every company that partnered with her basically just ended. I'm sure they had some type of morality clause in their contract. So I kind of struggle with this. So I saw this girl in particular, her apology video. To be honest with you, I can see why the world is still dragging her, because it was the most insincere video I've ever seen. So to be honest with you, before this scandal, I didn't know what this girl is, because while I'm on YouTube a lot, while I watch YouTube a lot, beauty videos is not necessarily the thing that I go to and watch. So could have cared less about who this girl is. But she has 5 million subscribers. So internet is dragging her because she literally is fake crying. Like, you can tell. She's like, like, you can tell, like, before she, like, worked herself up. It's fake tears. It's the most disingenuous apology that a person can give, and she's not even like owning up to it. She's saying that, oh, she retweeted something when actually she tweeted it. It's like what you did. And the fake tears and whatever. Like, I'd rather somebody just not cry and just apologize. Like, even if you guys seen like, okay, side story, but even if you've seen like Evelyn Lozado's apology for her kind of racist commentary this week, from Basketball Wives, with the whole Lily comment that she made on the show, you can also go Google that yourself. She actually had a pretty sincere apology, and yet again, there was no waterworks, there was no nothing. She basically, said, hey, I owe this girl a public apology because, I said something negative to her in public, so I owe her a public apology, but no. Also gave her a private apology. That's not really how I feel in the heat of the moment. I said something, XYZ and the third. And I think people appreciate that more just because it's sincere. If you did something wrong, like, everybody's human, you did something wrong, you're sorry about it, just apologize and move forward. Whether people decide to still support you, that's great. If they don't, then, you have to deal with the consequences of your actions. So a lot of what she said, and also what other people on the squad said, because they're still feuding, and it's kind of bad because now the Jeffree Star guy is like super happy that like all of them are getting dragged and all of them are kind of just like losing their empire, which is kind of stupid because at the end of the day, like, none of them are going to benefit honestly from this. Nobody's going to want to work with them, they're not going to be able to make as much money as they did previously because of the scandal at the end of the day. So if they do recover at the end of the day, that may or may not happen. So people have been dragging her. The thing is that I kind of feel a little bit what this group is saying. They're saying, that I said those things 10 years ago, it's almost been a decade, I'm not that person that I've been, XYZ and third. While they have been saying it and it's been very disingenuous, part of me feels what they're saying. Like, right now, I'm 27. 10 years ago, I would have been 17. I was a very different person at 17. I was a very different person 5 years ago. I was a very different person last year. Like, life is all about the progress and growing. So I do think that should you necessarily be held accountable for something that you did when you were really young? I'm not going to say no. I'm going to say it depends. Like, if you were 17 and you murdered somebody, just recklessly, like, murdered someone, you deserve to pay for those consequences. Because literally, there's kids that literally were stupid. Like, if you take it out of the context of just, like, it just being beauty and guru, like, if you look at a more severe case, there's kids that were 16, 17, probably came from broken homes, probably had some mental health issues, that maybe had been got into some gang violence, shot somebody in the street, just like not even like thinking, and yeah, they're still in jail for it because you killed somebody. It doesn't matter how old you were, it doesn't matter how ignorant you were. If you did something bad, from a young age, when you do something bad, there's consequences for your actions. So in that case, yes. In this case, because yet again, do I think it's spreading hate and ignorance? Yes. Do I actually think these people have learned and grown? No. Honestly, because birds of a feather flock together. It can't just be like one of you saying racist stuff. If it's all of you saying racist stuff and you all hang out together and the whole YouTube community that knows these people behind the scenes, because this is literally how the dragation started, because you fight in public, and then on top of that you have other people that know you, that have met you, that have interacted with you in public. So you know what they're gonna do? They're gonna instigate it too and be like, yeah, I know this person, like, they did X, Y, Z, and third, hell yeah, they're racist. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's just too much between the people that you choose to be around and surround yourself with it's too much receipts coming on with the tweets and the videos and the XYZ for me to genuinely think that they're sorry. I don't think that they're sorry. I don't. But I think in general, for something like this, I would be more willing to say yes. Like, I don't think you should be held accountable for something dumb that you said when you were young. As a general Denisha morality thing, like, I think we all said and did hurtful, kind of mean girlish, honestly, things when we were younger. However, here's what I do think you should get punished for. Everybody's dragging this girl, and one of the things that they're dragging the girl about is that they're basically saying that she shouldn't be making XYZ amount of money. There's people that work in public service, there's people that work in the Marines, blah, 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 and you make 2 to 3 times more than a Marine does in one YouTube video. Now, honestly, in life there are choices. I think when you sign up for it, do I think folks that are teachers, that work in public service in general, police officers, do I think all those folks need raises? Absolutely. Absolutely they do. Absolutely. Educating kids, protecting the public, like, anybody who works in the public service sector at this point probably needs a raise. They probably do. However, in life you make choices. At the end of the day, let's be real, we're all adults. When you took the job, you knew what you were signing up for. It's not like people just didn't disclose your salary. So, like, I feel like if I worked in the public sector, I would also have a side hustle. It is what it is. To kind of try to help compensate, or I wouldn't stay for a long time. I wouldn't make a career out of working somewhere where I only get paid $50,000 a year and don't have good benefits. Sorry, that's just not what I'm gonna do. You kind of have to make moves. So I don't understand how what she makes is relevant to what she's done. I think the platform and the amount of people that follow her and influence her, it's relevant because you can use that platform for positivity rather than, and there's a lot of positivity going on YouTube, but people are just not watching, you know what I'm saying? So it's like if you have a following and people that are loyal fans of yours, I think you should be held to higher standard, not necessarily to be a role model for people, because everybody's human, everybody makes mistakes, but I do think that you should be careful about what you say and what you do. So what I do think that she should be held accountable for is not protecting her brand. That, I think, is where, yeah, I do think that she should lose every single partnership. Do I think her business should it go away forever? And I guess for everybody in that group, should it go away forever? Not necessarily. Not necessarily, because I wouldn't want to wish that on anyone, but honestly, this girl is super duper rich. Look at her closet. She can sell half that closet and still be good with designer clothes and with a good salary for like the next 5 or 6 years. So I think that she should just take a step back, because at the end of the day, let's be real, she worked very, very hard to be able to demand to make the amount of money that she makes. So I'm not going to knock her on what she makes. If she makes 100 to 150, go ahead. It's a lot of money to be made. And as a woman in general, I think that, you know, we should have a say. We put in our work. This is what we do. This is marketing. Celebrities make just as much, so why can't, you know, the regular average YouTuber get their come up if they're talented and they have a skill and they have a following? She worked hard. That's her business. I'm not going to say I'm not going to say that she doesn't deserve to make however much she makes, because whether you like it or not, she has built a career for herself. Yet again, she knew what she signed up for. At the end of the day, was she making $100,000 to $150,000 per video when she first started YouTube? No, she was making nothing like the rest of us. But you know, when you're going to making YouTube videos, you're probably not going to make nothing. And this is any small business. You're probably not going to make nothing for the first 3 to 4 years, maybe even 5. And then if you blow up, you blow up. Like, it is what it is. So I'm not going to knock her. However, if you are at that caliber where you're making that amount of money per video, like, per video, you should do a lot more work to protect your brand. So if I was her, I would have done or hired somebody, because it probably would have cost her pennies compared to what she makes. I would have had somebody do a clean sweep of all of my social media accounts. It is not that hard. It is not that difficult. Like, this is like business school 101. You know what I mean? Like, at a point where, especially for social media, if you are an influencer, it's very hard to separate your social media from your business, because at the end of the day, people associate your social media with your brand and with what you do. I'm not saying it's fair. This is just the reality of the situation. You don't have necessarily, I'm not going to say like a private life. You do have a private life, but like your tweets, people go to your Twitter to see you talk about products. Your YouTube, people go to your YouTube to talk about products. So you can't have personal and business in the same mix. You can't. So, but at the same time, I get a lot of people who do start on social media and they start getting a following. They turn their personal platforms into their business platforms. So this could have easily been resolved by going back to your old tweets, going back, like everything, I get it, everything's on the internet, but you can at least, and you probably can't get rid of it, but you can at least do your due diligence to at least try to mitigate some of your risk with like a public scandal like this. And this is easy. This took a delete. It took a delete. Like, I just don't understand. So I just think for that sheer lack of foresight and just not, I just feel like this is just like very, very basic for me. And I guess because I went to business school, I know that when you do anything in marketing, your brand is like your most valuable asset that you could ever have. Building your brand, like, because literally you can take years. Like, look at this girl. She took probably, she's 30. I think she started YouTube in her early 20s. She spent almost the last 10 years building her brand. And one thing that she said has basically, her business is basically done. At least for the next year. Because I at least think, because she's still fighting with that Jeffrey guy. He's still threatening that he has some blackmail or whatever he has on this girl. So who the hell knows? But at least for the next year, she's going to have to take like a step back. 2 seats. To be fair, she's probably still making a ton of money, because I know people are looking at her videos. Because the first thing that I did after I saw the racist tweets, not to support her, but I was just curious to see like what she was about. I watched one of her videos. So I'm sure other people are doing the same thing. Like, who is this girl? Why haven't I heard about her? What's the hype about her? Is she really worth, you know, what people are spending on her? So, I mean, yet again, protect your brand. If you work, I don't care what business it is, I do not care. One thing, one mistake can completely ruin your business. To take this out of context, let's say you are a restaurant. It takes the one mice to run through your damn restaurant for people to never come to your restaurant again. Like, I don't care what industry it is, it just takes the one thing. So I just feel like if you're not that bright enough and a little bit careless enough to not have that foresight to be like, when I was younger, and the thing is, you know, when you say something or do something kind of bad, even if it's like trying to be a little bit comical, you know when you do something bad. So if you know it's out there, get rid of it. Like, I feel like this is very, very basic. This is not that difficult. This is not that hard. This is just not that difficult. So I feel like for that reason alone, yeah, homegirl needs to have 2 seats. At least for the next year. At least. And yet again, if she doesn't have the money in her bank account, I feel bad for her, but even that, not my concern, because she was making well over in one YouTube video with, God knows, she's making well over God knows the percentage of the US makes that amount of money in 1 year. She made in one video. So if she was spending it out buying designer clothes, not saving her money, not investing, then that's her fault. Like, literally, that's how I feel about it. And she has enough inventory in her closet to sell it. to at least give her 1 year to like chill out before she does anything else. Especially since her apology video was the most insincere thing that I've ever seen before in my life. Like, it literally is. So I'm gonna need her to have 2 seats, and I'm gonna need her to hire PR. Seriously, PR. Clean sweeps, any more scandals, do something about her. I'm not gonna say like brand necessarily, but her demeanor. I think her demeanor comes off it's just so disingenuous. Her demeanor is just like not good, and for somebody to help her write what she's going to say, because it's not there. So that's the major thing that's hitting the YouTube community right now. Which yet again, it's even the thing that, to go back to what Jeffree Star said, the acid comment, outside of the fact it was insensitive, for him to be a beauty guru, he knows for a fact that there's just not enough product to cater to Black women. Even with the products on the market now, there's still not enough to cater to Black women. I'll tell you right now, one of the reasons why I did studies in foundation is because Fenty Beauty had my shade. I go to Sephora, I kid you not, I've only been able to find 1 shade lighter because so many people my shade, like, it's like the first time, it's like, coming of Jesus at this point. Every Sephora I've gone to has not been able to have my shade. So I've been able to scrape up and find like the 1 shade lighter. But like even my shade I have not been able to find because the darker shades are always sold out. They never have enough of it in stock, ever. Because as soon as it goes on the shelves, and it goes on the shelves on like a random Wednesday, people know and they run to Sephora and buy it. And even outside of that, there's not an other variety of brands. So it's like, honestly, no matter how much Fenty wants to charge for their foundation, Black women are gonna buy it. You know why? Because it matches, it's good quality, and matches their skin color. Don't leave you looking ashy. It's not too heavy. Like, it's actually a pretty good product at a reasonable price point. So it's like, but they're the only one that's really mastered like the formula. So at this point, it's like they can jack the prices up however much they want to, and Black women will still go buy it because there's just not enough of it on the market. It's just facts. It is what it is. So that's like, I don't get it. I don't understand. They all know better at this point. Like, I don't know. Then the second thing, which happened before this, that blew my mind, but it's kind of funny because I feel like sometimes you see it. I feel like this is the first time they caught it on camera, but I feel like I've seen, not to this extreme, a lot of this happen, is with what's going down with the nail salon in Brooklyn. Where, if you don't know this story, you can Google this too, but basically a girl went to a nail salon, she got her eyebrows done, she got, I think, like the toes and nails done. Paid for her toes and nails, but the eyebrow lady, like, completely botched her eyebrows. And so the girl was like, I'm not paying $5 for this. You botched my eyebrows. And it turned into a massive brawl. Massive. So you see the video, but at this point when you see the video, you see, like, workers hitting this girl, her sister, and her grandmother with broomsticks, throwing acetone in their face and their eyes, and just jumping them, just beating them over $5. Like, so now everybody's been protesting this beauty nail shop in Brooklyn, and it's been a whole lot of commentary in general about, yet again, Black women supporting Black nail salons. So it's kind of weird because in both cases, on both sides, I just think it got a little bit blown out of proportion. So for the girl who got her eyebrows done, I feel her. 99% of the time, I go to get my eyebrows waxed, and the nail techs do not listen to me. I just found someone, like, I'm sure you probably can't see up close. If you see up close, do you see? Like, if you see, I have, like, little bald spots, like, there, and I have another one, like, right here. So I can speak from my own experience. Most people's eyebrows, when they grow out, they grow pretty bushy, right? If you were going back to the 90s, the trend was to have very thin eyebrows. Like literally, you go to some of the videos in the 90s, it looks like a little pencil. Now, people don't want that. People want thicker eyebrows. They want them to look fuller. They want them to look more natural. I'm even like I'm staring at a picture from me in like early 2000s. And even then, like my eyebrows were not as thin, because literally in the 90s, it used to be like, it looked like a nice, if I would take a pencil, like it literally looked like somebody drew in your face with like a nice fine tooth pencil and drew it like this. Now, if you go like I had to take that picture in early 2000s. I graduated in 2009, so really early 2000s. Now you see it and it's a little thicker, right? So maybe still the same length, but a little bit thinner. So you would just take off some here, a little bit. But if you notice, if you take off that little bit, like it goes from here, like a full eyebrow that's like this, to like this. And it's just a little, it's like a thinner line. Now, people want fuller, natural eyebrows. They just want it to be shaped. Most people's eyebrows, when they grow, it doesn't have shape. The eyebrows actually probably grow uneven for most folks, and most people get a unibrow. That's why you go get your eyebrows waxed, because you want shape and you don't want that unibrow. So when I go, people always overpluck my eyebrows because my eyebrows do not grow even. Most people's eyebrows don't grow even. So to get them even, what they will try to do is make one, like, they'll just make them both like really, really thin. And I'm always like, look, it's 2018. Shape them how I want. I don't care if they're bald spots. And even like most of the bald spots in my eyebrows is because they've been overplucked. So I've been like, look, shape it how you want to. Leave the bald spots. I can go get an eyebrow pencil and just fill it in so that way it can grow out like naturally. Stop plucking it. And sure enough, they always wax it and they always pluck it. And the thing is, you can't stop them once they start. It's like, because it's permanent. It's like, it just doesn't do anything. If they fuck up one, if they fuck up like a little bit of it, you just have to let them finish and continue. So I can speak, God knows how many times I left the nail salon being extremely pissed because somebody messed up my eyebrows. It's annoying because if I wanted my eyebrows jacked up, I could wax and pluck my eyebrows myself. I go to you because you're a professional. You do it every day. I expect you to do what I tell you to do when I go into nail salon. So most women are still having this issue. They go, their lady that they go to wants to just, like, you just cannot do whatever you want to do to somebody's face. It's their face. I don't care if you think it looks better. If somebody, any service, if somebody asks you to do something and that's what they're paying you to do what that person tells you to do. Especially if it's on their face, and especially if it's not permanent, it's semi-permanent, because it takes months to grow back your eyebrows, and the eyebrows grow back all type of jacked up, and you kind of have to like pluck off certain pieces, and your eyebrows just look messed up. So now I go to a woman who threads from my side, a woman who threads. I just found her, and she's been doing exactly what I've been telling her to do, and so my eyebrows have been growing out how they're supposed to. But I feel this girl because there's been so many times that I've gone to the nail salon like pissed. But I just have to, take a deep breath, not be angry, and I say, you know what? I'm gonna take the L. Take your $5. I probably won't tip them as much or at all if they really mess up my eyebrows and that's the only service, and I will leave the nail salon. That it is what it is. When people don't do what they need to do, especially at nail and hair salons, I don't tip them as much as I normally would. It is what it is, or at all. Honestly, like if you do something I don't like it, like no, I'm not gonna tip you for bad service. It is what it is. I'll pay you, but I'm not gonna tip you. So I kind of felt this girl when she said she didn't want to pay. And yet again, I know there may be some outliers that just do that, like they just go get their eyebrows done and then they start bitching and moaning because they just don't want to pay. But at the end of the day, if I'm a business owner, at the end of the day, I will also say it's only $5. You not paying is not worth my business. I would tell you to leave and I would blacklist you. You can never come back here. And that's it. Simple as that. If you have a client that comes in and you suspect that they're doing stuff just to get free service out of you, then that's not the clientele that you want in the first place. You don't want them, and you don't want their friends to recommend them, because you don't want any of them. That it is what it is. I would keep a nice picture of you. I would keep a nice, nope, you're not coming here. That's it. Like, it is what it is. So at this point, I think if I was the business owner and a customer came, because the customer's always right, and complained and said, look, you did something and I really don't want to pay for this, I would have just taken loss. Even in that case, I would have, because yet again, she paid for her nails and her feet, and I'm sure that probably cost her at least $40 to $50 at minimum. If you get mani pedi at minimum, you're probably paying like $50. If somebody's paying $40 to $50 and $5 out of that they don't want to pay, I would have taken the loss. I probably would apologize, because 90% of the time, you know, like, your employee probably did jack up her eyebrows. You can see, you're not blind. You can see if her eyebrows look jacked up. I would apologize. I would have said, hey, you know what? If you come back, maybe I'll do a free change of your nail color. I'll hook you up. I'll give you like a free nail color change, not a full mani, but I'll come out, do a free coat change or something like that to keep you happy, to keep you coming back. So instead, you don't see the beginning of how it escalated. You see the end, where they're like literally just beating these women instead of telling them to leave. Like, I just don't get it, because at the grand scheme of things, it's all over $5. And I don't know, to be fair, I don't know what these business owners have dealt with in terms of clientele that they had in the past. But even if they had some bad clientele in the past that didn't want to pay for services, I still kind of blame them. Because if you know you have certain kinds of people in your business, like, you almost attract a little bit of what you allow. Just don't have them come back. Tell them that they cannot come back. It is what it is. And I'm not saying, like, if somebody has come and they've proven to you that this is the type of person that they are, you don't let them come back. And then the second thing is, just because one person does it to you, you can't assume that everybody in the community is going to do the same thing. I feel like this is with most businesses with services. You can't just assume that everybody is just like this one or two customers. And so you're holding all this anger for customer A and B, and you deal with customer E, and then you want to treat customer E like shit because of the past customers that you had to deal with. You can't do that. It's not how customer service works, honestly, in business. So this huge fight breaks out. These people are about to lose their business if they haven't already, because everybody has been protesting them. So they haven't gotten any business. Some of the days they had to, shut down. And other days, I think people were just standing outside with signs. So I think eventually, they'll just move and change their name. They'll probably stay in Brooklyn. They'll just move and change their name. And let's be real, no, if they do that, nobody's going to know who these people are. But they're going to have to start over again. So it's kind of interesting, because now everybody's saying, well, go to Black-owned business, blah, 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 blah. The problem is there's just not enough. And there needs to be a way to solve it. Like, even for me, because now I'm, like, genuinely curious and a little bit passionate about it, because I do think it's kind of an issue that needs to be addressed and needs to be rectified in some way. How? I'm not necessarily sure, because it's easy. So I'm not going to say it's easy. I think to some extent it's harder to support Black-owned businesses, just because you don't know, unless you go and like try out, you don't necessarily know what businesses, even in Black communities, are owned by Black people, because even if the workers are Black, the owner may not be. And it's kind of hard to find out. And because there's so few and far between in certain locations, like getting your actual hair done, like outside of getting actual hair done, I think that's probably where you'll see most Black-owned women businesses. So actually going to a hair salon. But a nail salon where they give services for nails and for your nails and feet, waxing services, it's very hard. I'm not going to say there's none, but it's very hard to find Black-owned business. if you go to a beauty supply, sell the whole store. I'm not even gonna say 90. The whole store has products catered to Black women. I have not been in one. In New York City, I have not yet been into one beauty supply store that's owned by a Black woman. I'm not saying that there's none that don't exist. I'm saying I haven't been in any. In a regular, like, one in my neighborhood where I could walk down the block. I could walk down the block right now, find 3 in the next 5 minutes. I can find 3 different beauty supplies. They're not Black owned. I'd tell you that right now. So that's like products. Then we go to the actual product, what's on the shelves. So to be fair, there's probably 4 to 5 that I can think of that I know are definitely Black owned. So Carol's Daughter, which technically is not Black owned anymore because, as everybody knows, Lisa Price, she went into bankruptcy, so it's actually owned by L'Oreal now. But Lisa works for L'Oreal, so technically it's not even Black owned anymore. And Eden's Garden is Black owned. Outside of that, even the other bigger known Black hair care brands, I'm not going to mention them, but the other bigger ones, I don't necessarily think that they're still Black owned. They're probably like a Carol's Daughter. They're probably a subsidiary, as of this point, of a bigger company that distributes and kind of helps them market and whatever their products. So in terms of products, there's very few and far between, especially in like just regular stores where I can just go buy things. Few and far between Black owned products. I will say, and I know there's brands that I'm missing, but I will say the only store that has actively done a really good job, still not where it needs to be, but a really good job, is Target. I'm literally tagging Target in this video only because I'm going to say Target and just scroll to however many, 47 minutes. It's a long video. I'm going to say Target has done an amazing job and being like one of the first, if not the first, major distributor who has actively sought to put Black hair care products on their shelves. Like Black hair care products, even like scarves and like things that like normally we use and we get from beauty supply store, they're the only major distributor that has gone out of their way to support Black owned businesses in hair care. So that I kind of give them an applause. So I know there's probably some smaller brands that I don't know, but I know they're doing a lot. Over the past 10 years, they've been slowly integrating Black hair care products, Black owned businesses on their shelves, which is like unheard of. Like literally, I went to Target last year and they sell like the travel size Cantu products, which I'm telling you, you ask any Black woman anywhere that uses Cantu, that is amazing. Because I kid you not, you go to almost any Black household, they have a Cantu product, but it's in a huge jug. It's hard to travel with, so you always have to buy the small travel ones. And now it's right in the travel section. You don't have to worry about packaging and traveling with it. Like literally, it's amazing because somebody recognized and realized, oh, we have all this travel size stuff. We have no travel size Black hair care products. Black people don't travel. We don't need products. So they've actively been saying like, hey, we see challenges. And I know Halsey got like so much shit for, so Halsey, she's a singer. She's light skinned because she's mixed, but she's Black. She's biracial. So her father's Black, her mother's white. But she's very, very fair skinned, so people don't realize, and if you're not a fan of hers, so I knew that her father was Black, so I understood her, felt her what she was saying. She came out with a comment saying that she doesn't understand why hotels only have like white people hair products, something to that effect. And I was like, She is saying what every dark-skinned woman has said for years, but because she's fair-skinned and because she wears wigs, so she looks white. She wears wigs and she wears a lot of colored hair. But if you know her, I'm a fan of hers for years. Underneath her wigs, she's actually going natural. So she has like a curly fro. She's like 3A. Go figure. So when she goes, she uses black hair care products because that's what works for her fro. But she travels. She's, an artist, so she travels a lot. Doesn't necessarily want to carry stuff with her, and she probably doesn't even know that Target. Homegirl, somebody tag Halsey in this. Homegirl, you need to go to Target and get your hair care products. But even then, she got so much backlash for it, and I'm like, look, when you see a certain segment of folks that's having a certain type of challenge, turn it into an opportunity. Because she said it. She said something on her platform that so many people have said. She got so much shit for it. But the reality of the situation is she's speaking a truth. I don't understand why. If I was a major chain hotel, I would have been on it. The first thing I would have done is called up somebody to say, hey, I saw, because so many people are so willing to criticize something that somebody says instead of saying, hey, I saw this tweet. It's getting a lot of attention. Can you give me some more insight? And taking that as an opportunity. And I still haven't seen any hotels kind of rectify the situation because there's truth there. Like, they don't have any real black hair care products. And, like, they don't. They just don't. And nobody has done nothing to cater to the black woman in this situation. So, anyway, I felt like a detour. So back to what I was saying before. So services outside of hair care, I don't see that much black-owned businesses. And then for product, you have very few. But even with that, the problem is, to a certain extent, is I think because there's such few, there's competition a little bit, or like my perception is there's a little bit of competition amongst the bigger name brands because not everybody wants to get into the black-owned, black hair product business, that there's not enough mentoring in that industry, and it may be a little bit because people are scared that, somebody may come into the industry, they may have an idea, they may steal some of your market share, blah, blah, blah. But at the end of the day, how I see it is that you have a pie here. We're probably like the tiniest piece of slice of this pie if you talk about the products on the market for the beauty industry, right? So I feel like everybody is just fighting over this one little slice instead of thinking, okay, well, if we just make the pie bigger and generate more product and somehow generate more revenue and work together, that everybody's going to win. Because while I may still be getting the same percentage, if I'm getting the same percentage of a bigger slice, I'm still making more money. So there's a value in mentorship. There's value in making sure that the next generation of black entrepreneurs are successful behind you. Because yet again, you don't want to be in a situation where people make the same mistakes that you've made. So to be fair, like I've actually watched quite a bit of Lisa's Price's videos because people were so mad that L'Oreal bought them out. But at the end of the day, I'm sure she hasn't gone in depth to what really, really, really set off. Well, no, she has, but I feel like she's been a little. I feel like she sugarcoated a little bit the challenges that she was going through. Because she said the brick and mortar stores is what killed her business at the end of the day. She had a lot of Carol's daughters' stores open, and if she would have just focused on the online business, because that's where she was selling most of her products, you wouldn't have to deal with the high rents. It's like basic 101. She wouldn't have had to deal with the high rent. I'm sure there was other things that happened, but for the mostly she mainly talked about the brick and mortar stores. And sales weren't doing as good as they were before, so she kind of touched upon it, but even if she's one example, but the moral of the story is because there's not enough mentorship and people giving advice about serious pitfalls that they've had in their business and trying to just help the next generation get the knowledge and tools that they need to start their own business. Probably, I don't know why. To some extent, it may not even be out of like, okay, fear of somebody coming and stealing the market share. It could just be because, hey, there's so few and far in between. So I'm sure that most of them are doing stuff, but it's like they can't do everything. They're super stretched thin. So that could just be one of the issues that's going on in the industry too. So it's kind of hard because it's like you want to support Black-owned businesses, but there's not like a dictionary where you can just go and say, hey, Black-owned businesses, and find where you need to go. And then B, there's not enough mentorship that's going on to help Black women in particular get their businesses off the ground. Because another thing that you see too, which yet again this video is almost an hour, and I can go on and on about this, is even in Black-owned businesses, in the Black beauty industry, you also see quite a bit of men dominating, which blows my mind. It's like the most fascinating thing. It's just like everybody has figured out or is figuring out Black women's beauty except for Black women. And so there needs to be a point where like we rectify the situation, how that may be. I'm not 100% sure yet, but it needs to be somewhat of a collective effort just because it's like I feel like it's the only one. And everybody knows that it's a huge problem, and there hasn't been, I think it's just been, there's been effort, but we need to come a long way. So I say that to say, like, at the end of the day, like, if you know better, do better. So if you see whatever that business may be, it doesn't have to necessarily be beauty, but in particular, like if you see a Black woman entrepreneur doing her thing, I think it's everybody's responsibility to go and support her in her efforts, just because it's so hard. Like there has to be, like, numbers wise, there's just not enough. So you have to start to think like, is it lack of effort, which I don't think that necessarily is the case at all, or if there's something in the system and the infrastructure that's just broken. That just makes it difficult. It's also to the point where I was saying before, because Black women don't necessarily, not necessarily, because Black women don't dominate the industry, Black women are still getting discriminated against, even though it's an industry that they spend the most money with and in. I've heard it before. People say it all the time that Black women, Black beauty, Black hair is recession proof, which to some extent there's some truth there, to some extent there's not. But I don't know. Because at the end of the day, just support the Black woman. Can we just put that out there? In all of her efforts, just support the Black woman, because Black women, we support everybody else, and we're always trying to, like, I feel like every Black woman that I know, we're all trying to be like motherly figures, and we're all trying to figure it out ourselves, blah blah blah, and we support every other group, and no one supports us, or not as much as they should. So yes, if you agree, have some commentary, whatever, leave a comment down below. Hopefully we could start a bigger dialogue on what's been going on in the beauty industry, and even try to help me figure out some ways where we can just make it better in general, because it's been heavy on my heart, and I want to find, I like problems, and I like finding solutions for our problems. So maybe on YouTube, open up the dialogue is where we need to go. But anyways, I want everybody else to have a safe weekend. I literally am about to go back into bed and figure out what I want to do for the day. And that's pretty much it. So have a great weekend, guys. See you later. Bye.